And also, I went through a process in 2020 of changing my name by default because I was originally John Charles Julian Lennon. Someone had taken advantage of John Lennon to isolate Julian from his family. Another sued him in court out of ambition to seize his father's enormous wealth. Some even shamelessly interfered in his father's love life, becoming the third person in his relationships. All of these events shattered Julian's family and left him with a deeply painful past. Though the son of the legendary Beatle, Julian Lennon, has lived a life filled with turmoil and endless legal battles. For that reason, even at the age of 62, during an interview with Rolling Stone, Julian did not hesitate to admit, "I absolutely despise her." He even revealed a list of people he resents the most. So, who is the person Julian hates the most? And why, after more than 50 years, did he finally dare to admit these hidden truths? The answer will surely send chills down your spine. Yoko Ono, the ongoing conflict with the powerful stepmother. On December 8, 1980, the whole world was shaken by the news that John Lennon, one of the greatest musical legends and peace icons of the 20th century, had been tragically shot right at the entrance of the Dakota Building in New York. But for Julian Lennon, John's eldest son, that day was not only the shock of losing his father, but also the beginning of an endless struggle. His long war with Yoko Ono, the powerful and controversial stepmother. Yoko Ono, John's wife, had been a divisive figure in the Lennon family from the moment she appeared. Many believe that Yoko was the main reason behind the breakup of the Beatles, and her relationship with John changed Julian's life in deep and painful ways. The relationship between Julian and Yoko was not merely about a new woman taking the place of his mother. It was a sudden, total revolution. With her power and influence, Yoko reshaped the Lennon household, from careers to personal lives, leaving Julian feeling like an outsider in his own family. Right after John's death, 17-year-old Julian flew to New York to be with Yoko and his half-brother Sean. However, the days following the funeral brought him no comfort, only a stronger sense of abandonment. According to Cynthia Lennon, Julian's mother, one of the moments that shocked Julian the most was when Yoko asked him to touch his father's ashes. Although this was meant to be a private sacred act, it took place right in the living room of the Dakota apartment, a place full of family memories, making Julian feel excluded as if he did not belong. This was only the first sign of the tension between him and Yoko. His sense of being left out grew even more painful when, in the official press release following John's death, Julian's name wasn't mentioned at all, even though he was there grieving by his father's side. It was an erasure that Julian found hard to forgive. Despite the devastating loss, Julian had to deal not only with the pain of losing his father, but also with the ongoing battle for recognition and for his rightful place as John Lennon's son. In the years that followed, Julian took legal action against Yoko over his share of his father's inheritance. In 1996, after a long legal struggle, a settlement was reached, reportedly around £20 million. Yet Julian admitted that he did not consider it fair. "I only signed to end the war," he later shared in interviews. He didn't feel satisfied. He felt as if he had been forced to fight not for money, but for his father's memories. Memories he even had to buy back at auctions. A bitter irony, a son having to pay for his own father's belongings, which should have been his by birthright. Meanwhile, Yoko Ono was not just John's wife, she was also the one who controlled his estate. She decided everything about the Beatles' music and the vast fortune John left behind. Strong-willed and independent Yoko faced endless controversies, not only for how she managed John's legacy, but also for her own family conflicts. One of her most publicized battles was the custody fight over her daughter Kyoko with ex-husband Anthony Cox. For years, Kyoko lived in hiding with Cox, leaving Yoko unable to reach her. The case attracted massive media attention and raised questions about her maternal care and family responsibility. To regain custody, Yoko had to endure a long legal fight, facing accusations and scrutiny over her decisions and private life. All of these events created the complex public image of Yoko Ono, a strong woman who never bowed to challenges, yet deeply conflicted in her family relationships, especially with Julian. For many years, Julian felt he had been pushed out of the inner circle, while Sean Lennon, Yoko, and John's son was always cared for, and included Julian constantly faced the feeling of exclusion. In an interview with The Guardian in 2024, Julian confessed that he had never felt like part of the Beatles, even though he was John's son. He was often the last to know about new projects, major events, or releases related to the Beatles. He wasn't just left out of decisions, he was left out of the family's history. That is the pain of a son forgotten by his own family. But the Lennon story does not end with Yoko. There was another woman in Julian's life, one who suffered greatly too, yet always stood firm to protect him. Cynthia Lennon, the emotional struggle of the abandoned mother. Cynthia Lennon was the first woman in John Lennon's life, his wife, during the early years when the Beatles were just beginning to rise. They married in 1962, right as John was stepping into global fame, and as their lives began to change forever. But the marriage did not last long. In 1968, amid rumors and personal crises, John began his relationship with Yoko Ono, the woman who would completely alter his life and cause the final break with Cynthia. In her memoir, Cynthia recounted the heartbreak of her separation from John, describing how she felt left behind in a world where she no longer had a place. To Cynthia, John was not only a husband, but a man whose ambition gradually consumed him, drawn into fame and new relationships. Yoko Ono's arrival was not simply the replacement of one woman by another. It was a turning point Cynthia could never accept. In her autobiography, A Twist of Lennon, she recalled that after John and Yoko began living together, she faced the pain of being left behind every single day. John was no longer the man she once loved. He had become someone entirely different, living in Yoko's world. It was a wound that would never heal, not only for Cynthia as a wife, but for her as a mother who had to watch her young son lose his father's presence. Julian, only 5 years old when his parents divorced, grew up surrounded by emotional